Welcome back to Linux Academy and the roadmap to securing your infrastructure. This is video 3, setting up MS LAPS, and that is Microsoft Local Administrator Password Solution. And what this does, it allows for each computer in your environment, whether it's a workstation or server that has a local administrator account, it allows for each of those computers to create and register its own local administrator password, ensuring that each computer has a unique local admin password, and it will auto-rotate as well, as you'll see shortly. Now this, of course, reduces the occurrence of password reuse in our infrastructure, and hey, that's always great for security. And it reduces the amount of labor on the admin side required to rotate all of those local passwords on a regular schedule. So again, win, win, win. All right, now LAPS does require a couple of things. First off, it installs an agent to be installed on each of the computers you're going to run it on, but we can do that through group policy, so there's very little labor required there. We also need to extend our Active Directory schema, but that's just 2 PowerShell commands, so pretty simple. And lastly, we set up a group policy with all of our LAPS settings in it, which there's not many at all, and then we turn it on. So what do you say we get started? Let's go ahead and jump in here. Now I've got a Server 2012 R2 that you're looking at, and the first thing we're going to do is download Microsoft LAPS. So let's go ahead and open Internet Explorer or the browser of your choice, and I'm simply Googling for MS-LAPS, MS LAPS. And there you go. The first URL link here at the top ends in ID. It is a Microsoft.com URL, and it ends in ID equals 46899. So we're going to jump on in. There we go, and we're going to scroll down. And we're going to download LAPS. Now, once we click download, it'll ask us if we want 64-bit, 86, or the x86. We're going to do 64-bit. We're going to go ahead and say download, and we should be asked to save it here. There we go. I'm going to go ahead and save it to the desktop. Save as, desktop, and save. There we go. There we go. All right, great. Now let's go ahead and install it. So just install. There's only one thing you want to be sure to do, and I'll show you that here momentarily. It's preparing the installer. And here we go. Next, we agree to the license agreement, of course. Next, now here's what you want to check. Be sure to do the entire feature. We want all of this installed. So say next, install, and just takes a second. There we go, finished. All right, great. Now that LAPS is actually installed on our server, we need to go ahead and create a share. And this is because we're going to create a group policy to allow all of our workstations and servers that have local admin passwords to install this LAPS agent. So I'm going to create a new folder. I'm just going to call it LAPS. Pretty simple. And I'm going to go ahead and paste this in here. Let's go ahead and copy this. I'm going to put it in here. There we go. That way all of our devices will be able to access it when we create our group policy. I do also need to set some permissions. So let's go under sharing. Let's see. Let's go to advanced sharing because actually not advanced sharing. Let's just do regular sharing. There we go. Let's go. I just need to do domain computers. I want to make sure domain computers can read this. Not domain users, domain computers. Okay, we've got that. Let's go ahead and share it out. All right, done. Very simple. Then go under security. And domain computers is there, and they have read, execute, list, and read. So we're good to go there. You want to make sure those are there as well, because our computers are going to actually go out when they update the group policy or reboot, and they're going to grab that installer and automatically install it. So we'll go ahead and close that out. Now that we have the share available, we need to go ahead and create a group policy. So we're going to open our group policy editor. Now I have an OU, on an organizational unit, called domain computers, and in there I have a workstation, and that's where you will put all of your workstations that you want to manage with LAPS, or if you already have all of your computers or servers in OUs, then you simply would create this group policy and apply it at that level. All right, looks like it's loading group policy management. And once it finishes, we'll go ahead and create our group policy. There we go. Let's see if it'll let us go ahead and create one. Let's expand. There's nothing there, so I'm going to create and link a group policy on my domain computers. There we go. And I'm going to call it LAPS deploy. Something simple. There we go. LAPS deploy. Yes. Go ahead and edit that. I'm going to go under policies. Say OK. And then I'm going to go to software settings and software installation. I'm going to do a new package. There we go, package. And here in the file name, you'll want to do a UNC path because this is what your DC1, your workstations and servers will access this file from. So be sure to use the UNC path and not a local path. Then you'll want to go under advanced and say OK. You'll want to make two changes in here. One is under deployment. You'll select uninstall this application when it falls out of the scope of management so that it can be uninstalled at that point. And you want to go under security and add domain computers. And there we go. Make sure it's read, and they do have read. Okay. Wow, was that hard? No, simple. All right, and that's it actually. Now when your computers update their group policy or reboot that are in that whatever OU you apply this to, they will then install the LAPS agent. All right, so we're making great progress. Let's go ahead and open a PowerShell. Actually, I'm going to leave this open. I'm just going to minimize it. Close that out. Let's open an elevated PowerShell because now we're going to run a few PowerShell commands. There we go, Windows PowerShell. And we're going to run as administrator. We'll give that just a few seconds to load up. And what we're going to do is import the ADM password PowerShell module. So we're going to do that with the import module admpwd.ps. There it goes. And now we're going to extend our schema. We'll do that with the update admpwd.ad schema command. And there it goes. So our AD schema has been extended. We're good to go there. Now, when dealing with this, we need to define what OUs are going to be using this. So we need to delegate some permissions. And we do that with this command here. Set ADM-PWD computer self permission, not permissions, but permission, org unit. This is defining the OU, which is domain computers. There we go. So what we're doing is we're allowing the objects in the domain computers OU, we're giving it permission to basically set their own password. And there we go, delegated. Excellent, very good. Now something we should take a look at real quick while we're in here is who has power, who has permissions to look at these passwords. And we can do that with the find-adm-pwd extended rights identity ty, there we go, and domain computers. And I almost forgot a hyphen. Need that right there. There we go. So this is who has the permissions to look at the passwords of these devices after they set. Well, right now the system does and domain admins. Well, I want my help desk users to be able to view these passwords. So when people call in and they need to access, our help desk folks need to access the local admin via password, we can do that. So here's how we're going to do that. We're going to use set adm-pwd read password. So, read the admin password, the permission to do so for the org unit or the OU of domain computers. So you need to do this for each of your OUs and define the allowed principals. And here I'm going to add in Waddle is my domain name, which is a group of penguins, by the way, and the help desk group. And it didn't like something that I did. So what did I do? Let's see, set ADM PWD read password permission or unit domain computers. Oh, I misspelled principals. It should be ALS. There we go. That's better. So watch your spelling. Now we're going to look at this find. Now remember, we looked to see who had permissions to read these passwords, and originally it was system and domain admins. Now when we run this command, we should also see help desk, and sure enough, right down here we also see help desk now. So now our help desk folks have permissions to read those passwords. All right, now that we've set this up, we've extended our schema, we've deployed the agent, we need to define, I'm going to minimize this, a group policy to set our settings. So let's do that. Let's go ahead and under that same area here, now that we've expanded our, actually I'm going to close this out because we did extend our schema and I need the group policy to go ahead and reread that. So there we go. Let's go ahead and let's see if it's going to create a new group policy. And we're going to call this LAPS policy. And this is where we're going to put our LAPS settings at. So let's go ahead and edit that. And here, if I go under policies, let's see, okay, it should be administrative templates, and there's LAPS, and there's our options. So first off is password settings. We're going to open that up. We're going to enable it, and this is where you define your complexity requirements for whatever your passwords are going to be and how often you want them to rotate. So I'm going to leave it at the defaults. Looks pretty good. Name of administrator account. Now, if you have a group policy that changes your local admin account, here's where you would put your local admin account. You would select enable and put in that new name, whatever it might be. We're not going to do that because it's administrator. And then lastly, down here, we're simply going to enable it, and this turns on LAPS. And we say OK. And it's thinking. And thinking a little more. So this is the last setting in that group policy. There we go. It saved it, enabled. We're going to go ahead and close that out. And that is it. Can you believe it? So we created a group policy to deploy our LAPS agent, which is, that keeps popping up right here. And then we extended our schema. We checked to see who had permissions to read passwords, and then we set our help desk group to be able to read passwords. Then we set up a policy with all of our password settings. So that's it for the setup. Now let's go ahead and I'm going to minimize this because I want to jump in here. This is the lab where we have it up and running. So I want you to see. There we go. This is my DC1, as you can see. Now this over here is my workstation one. And I just went under the control panel and programs and features to see that you can tell. This is how you would know if the LAPS agent is installed. You would look in this area here under the programs and features, and you see local administrator password solution is installed. That's all I wanted to show you there. So back on the server though, let's go ahead and see how can we look at these passwords that these devices set. Well, there's actually two ways. One is from PowerShell, and the other is through an actual thick client. So let's go ahead and run this command here, get-adm pwd password-computer name, and here we're just doing WS1. And there it is. This is the password that was set on WS1. So you can do it via PowerShell, but you can also browse to Program Files, LAPS, and run the admpwd.ui as administrator, and then put in the name of whatever computer you're looking for, hit search, and the password will be populated. So there you go, folks. It's actually pretty simple. LAPS, it allows us to do away with password reset on local administrator accounts. It allows us to make sure that those local administrator accounts are all unique and that they rotate on a regular basis. So it helps us to secure our infrastructure, which is our goal every day throughout 2019 and the rest of our professional lives. So thanks, guys and gals out there, for stopping by and checking out the blog on the roadmap to securing your infrastructure here at Linux Academy, and I will see you in the next video.